Hey, everybody, Instagram and the Book of Faces and YouTube. Welcome to today's episode of the Marketing Happy Hour. We're talking about the lessons that we have learned in marketing in 2021. I am one of your hosts, Dr. Christopher Vogelmann, who clearly had a lot of fun playing with Canva this afternoon.
Let's see him.
And yeah, I figured something different. And those of you on Instagram, hello. We're going to only be on Instagram for just a little bit. And then you're going to have to come over to YouTube or to the Book of Faces, which I sometimes call a Zookbook. And I'm with Maximize Your Media, which is our digital agency. Dr. Vogelmann, everywhere you consume social media. And with me, as always, is my adorable and knowledgeable co-host, one of them, John Paduchak.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are adorable.
Thank
Florable,
you.
too.
That too, yeah. I've been doing a lot of that.
We have johnpaduchak.com, and we have a joint venture digital agency called Epic Win Agency, coast to coast, with the digital marketing you love the most. And down below, fresh from south of the border, south of the border is the United States to Dr. Kayvon Kay, further south of the U.S. border, back from his wonderful stint is Dr. Kayvon Kay of Simplify.zone, your implementation coach, and the guy who the paparazzi actually caught.
Yeah,
down there.
See that? We were spying. We
thought you could hide. You couldn't do it. Not at all.
We sent some people looking for you just to check in.
From the border to the north of the border.
South of the border, north of the border, and all the borders in between.
Yes.
You don't have a border collie, do you?
Yeah, I like that picture. You
like that picture?
Yeah, make sure that you send it.
We will. We will definitely send this thing to you.
We've been doing this for 2 weeks. We've gotten good at it.
I'm getting better at Canva, as you can tell. So. That was really hard to get your face there, by the way, too. I had the other one where it was you haven't seen the past episodes clearly, because we had one where you were singing as a mariachi. I'll send all of this.
Like Canva people are thinking, what have we done? We created a
What
month.
have you done?
Yes.
Oh, it's totally worth the $12.95 a month for that kind of entertainment.
It really is.
So, Dr. Kayvon Kay, you are the implementation coach. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And where can we find you? And what do you do? And you're not an execution coach? I had one of those guys who was the execution coach. I thought he was going to take my head off. So.
Yeah, it's about getting things done. Something that, like any other expert or specialist, I can do better for other people than for myself. I became an implementation coach to solve my own problems. And yes, people can find me everywhere on at drkayvonkay.com. No, at Dr. Kayvon Kay.
Where are you at?
Are
you still? I think your head is still here.
Yes. My body is here, but I haven't arrived yet.
You got tacos on your brain. Oh, Instagram people, please come over to YouTube, as I said before, and we will be talking about the lessons we have learned in marketing in 2021. So I'm cutting this off for now. Go over there. Thank you. We'll see you there soon. Sorry, I had to cut off the Instagram people because it's one of those travel days when very few people are showing up. And so I know for a fact that most of you are going to watch this afterwards. There'll be a couple of you, flirting in on the live. Please use the hashtag replay so that we know that you were here, and it helps us to identify you in case you have any questions or comments you'd like us to address. So what shall we address?
Thanksgiving, right?
For Thanksgiving? Yeah, our Thanksgiving. Well, yours is in October, and I used to.
Already done with the turkey.
Yeah, I was when I was at the Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College, which is where I started out in Toronto, before moving to St. Louis. I got to sample 2 Thanksgivings. I would have the October one in Canada with friends in Barrie, Ontario, and other places, and I would also have the American Thanksgiving. So I got
turkey overdose.
Turkey TOD.
There you go.
Not like TOS, and we often violate TOS unintentionally.
I don't know what TOS is.
Terms of service. You're going to claim ignorance, but now we have video evidence that now you know what terms of service.
That's that stuff.
Oh, it's all legal. So let's start. Who wants to start out? Since I've been doing a lot of talking so far about what we've learned in 2021, the marketing in terms of what works, what doesn't work, what were our spectacular successes, what were our spectacular failures, and what have we learned?
Well, what
John.
I have learned is new
Somebody.
gimmicks, new tools, and new software. They never perform as well as the old classic, techniques that always work. Like a good headline still wins over any new video platform or TikTok or any other trend and that sort of thing. So when we have basically the fundamentals work even better when we are dealing with shorter and shorter attention span.
What?
Exactly.
I'm a Pisces, so maybe I resonate with goldfish.
A double goldfish.
A double gold, yeah, two goldfish. That means I get 16 seconds of attention instead of the 8 seconds.
Yeah.
So, John, what have been some things that have succeeded, so have not? I mean, we talk about video a lot. What's working, what's not working.
Yeah, we do talk about video a lot. I'm actually going to bring up something that's not video related.
No,
I am. I think 2021 has been the year that we've seen more high touch. Like people seem to like more high touch.
Can you explain what high touch is, other than it's a good touch? We hope.
Yeah, it is a good touch. They want more personalized attention. Lots of folks are upselling into higher ticket coaching programs because they want more attention, trying to get further along with what they're learning, etc. So, see more of that. More, also better. They're looking for much better customer support, customer service. They really want attention. People were strive for attention after COVID.
Do you think it has something to do with people being at home and separated from?
I do. I really do. I think it had a lot to do with that.
There's a level of social isolation from the pandemic that's not going to disappear in terms of the tools that are used. And one of the things, I was reading an article on Forbes the other day, which some of the big brands have done, is they focus to a great extent on delivering the right service to the right customer at the right time. Yes. So I'll give you an example. So JP Morgan Chase primarily dealt with travelers, all right? But JP Morgan Chase, there wasn't as much traveling going on. And so they actually formed a partnership with Instacart and moved away from travel into creating now a joint venture credit card with Instacart, because people are still liking to have groceries delivered to them. And that top of the mind awareness is something where you have to really deliver something special to create, not only create that emotional bond, but to keep it there. And so I think what we've seen also in 2021 is a proliferation of behind the scenes look at how people are producing content, at how, seeing who your favorite gurus are, and, getting to know people, as you said, John, earlier, a little more personally, but also seeing the mechanics. What does your studio look like? What does your camera setup look like? What's your environment? And that level of getting personal is really interesting. So when I say BTS, it's behind the scenes, not the Korean boy pop band. So,
okay, good.
Yeah, because I mean,
I'm not clarification.
Yeah, I always have to do that. And new technology has been one of the things that we've been looking at too. So even though I think when you're talking, John, about, or Kayvon, when you're talking about TikTok and stuff like that, I'm actually finding TikTok to be one of the big things for me now. And I would never have thought that the case. I'm not dancing and I'm not lip syncing and doing all that stuff, even though I could if I wanted to.
I'm sure.
But what I'm finding is short form video is really making an ascendance through all of 2021. Yeah. And 15-second video clips are like big for grabbing the goldfish attention span.
Sure. And 2021, also the year of more AI tools. So we had so many AI tools.
Jarvis is one of those.
Yeah, Jarvis is one of those. I just would have never have thought that within 6 months we'd have just so much.
Yeah.
It's been
Speaking of AI tools and Jarvis.
Yeah.
have you guys seen anybody comparing these copywriting AI tools? Like on my screen right now, I have Jarvis Copy.ai and CopyPro.ai. I don't know if there are other big ones out there, but have you seen anybody compare them?
Not thus
Only
far. I
us.
would imagine there's a YouTube video somewhere out there where somebody's doing it. I mean, I would love to see you do a comparison, Kayvon. You just do like a screen share and you have all three of them up. You put the same piece of copy into all three and see what's generated. That'd be very interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Well, I have to get to. They are just new to all of them, but I'm thinking if there was a piece of copy that I could import to all of them, so not to have it create from scratch for me, like if there's a feature, because I know CopyPro.ai, I can create copy, but can I say, hey, here's a copy, make it better? If there was this feature that I could test in all three of them, I would be glad.
Well, I can give you. I'm sure I can give you a piece of copy from the marketing happy hour. So,
there you go.
And just send it to all of them.
And all three AI go, wow,
see,
this is
see
so
who
awesome.
comes up with the best description for our next program.
Yeah.
Wait, what are the? I hope the jets aren't too loud, are they?
I actually heard him today.
Yeah, that was that one was an F-18.
Christopher, are you sure that your microphone is the same as usual? Because your sound is different. Maybe you are using your computer microphone, not the one that is in front of you.
Maybe you're right. Well, it's not lit. Why is it not lit? That
is the
terrible.
USB cable connected?
Oh, no. Okay.
There you go.
Technical difficulties on the marketing happy hour.
Well, no, it was in.
Wow, it's so different now.
There was no electricity. The cord was in, but there was no electricity going into the cord. So now it's blinking its cute little blue light. It's like Kmart, the blue light special. And but prior to that, it was fully in but not connecting. But this is what happens when you use a 6.5-year-old MacBook Pro to produce live stream.
That's what happens.
Yeah, the connections.
My MacBook Pro is also 2014 too. So
the connections are going really bad. So
I had flickering monitor issues in the past.
Yeah, we had a monitor actually go out completely. Had to get a new video card in there, and it was almost the price of the computer. But I found somebody locally who did it, and it was only like, he said buy the part, which was like $430, and he installed it for $100. But that was better than buying a brand new computer. So sad. So instead of getting sad, let's get glad. One of the things that you'd mentioned earlier was being attuned to.
Well, I'm glad it's fixed now.
Yeah, I am too, because now my dulcet tones are going to be throughout the internet world. Hey, so being personalized, there's one thing that came about too. I was listening to somebody talking about being sensitive to the emotions and the mindset of consumers, of your customers. And an example that was given also in Forbes, by the way, was of Starbucks partnered with Headspace, which is similar to the Calm app, but Headspace, to provide mindful meditation to all of its Starbucks customers, which I thought was very interesting.
Nothing like mindful meditation for people hyped out on caffeine.
Yeah, baby. And Google, well, the other one.
How does that work?
I don't know
Exactly. I have to go back and find out what the end result was. The other thing that I thought was kind of interesting was Google, during most of the pandemic, I don't know if they're still doing it or not, provided virtual tours of museums all over the world, which that's fantastic. That's like, I mean,
I'm seriously considering to cut back on travel and just do Google tours.
Well, but you do miss something. There's nothing like going all the way around the statue of David in Florence. You get very different perspectives than you would normally.
I'm sure.
Well, in one of these parks in Mexico City, there was a David, so I went around that one.
You went around?
Yeah.
See, Dr. Kayvon Kay gets around.
Around the David statue.
So other lessons learned in 2021. I think, one of the things that we've seen too is that paid advertising has changed a lot with the advent of iOS 14. Is that opportunity ringing or?
No.
Okay. I was wondering where that sound was.
I didn't hear anything.
I'm so sorry.
I heard a ding, ding, ding.
That was me.
Are you a prize
Sugar
fighter?
Riders.
Back to your corner, John.
I know. Gosh.
Yeah.
Back to your corner. Now I lost
Yeah,
my
I've
train of
never
thought.
been into advertisement or don't have experience with it. So
Well-
I'd love to hear what you guys think about
Yeah.
that.
So with iOS 14, so Apple was their big thing was privacy. Our browser, like the Safari browser, actually supposedly is far more secure than Google Chrome. And it could be just because Google Chrome is more widely used than Safari. But baked into Safari are all these little privacy settings that are the default. And with iOS 14, with all of your little devices, well, my iPhone still has the Instagram live thing on there ready to save. With iOS 14, it meant that you couldn't track people anymore using cookies. Now, if they came to your website directly, you could track them. But if they just looked at an ad, you wouldn't automatically have the tracking cookie and be able to follow them everywhere and have your ad follow them all places. You still can do it if they visit your website directly, but it meant that you couldn't target your ads as well anymore in 2021, and that has
If
really
you're in
changed.
Safari.
No.
iOS.
Sorry, any Apple device.
Got it.
Any iOS device, I should say, like an iPad, an iPhone, whatever. It's baked into the operating system are all these privacy settings.
Yes.
And even to override them is even hard because when you visit a website, you'll even get this message saying, "Hey, we use cookies. Do you want to proceed? Can we track you? Yes or no?" And I always say no.
Yes.
But that's been hard for advertisers. Now, some people have found a way around it in 2021. I'm thinking of Frank Kern in particular, who he just sends out a very, very highly targeted ad. The ad itself is what he refers to as like maybe one or two tiny sentences of what he calls dog whistle copy. Like it speaks directly to the person who would be interested in his particular offer. And he sends it to a wide range of people, like 18 to 65 or 20 to 50 or so. Men, women, countries, doesn't matter. He doesn't do it to India and he doesn't do it someplace else because apparently there's some fraud issues and things. But he'll send it out there. And then so the people who click on the ad, he maintains they are self-selecting, and that's the way he overcomes iOS 14's privacy settings not allowing tracking to occur.
Right.
Very interesting. And apparently he's getting very effective results with that. So what's your experience, John, with have you run any? You've run ads on Microsoft.
Some,
Yeah.
but that's very different. Like it seems there that business is kind of as usual. I really haven't seen too much difference.
Now, do you think these changes, these upgrades, are they a good thing or a bad thing?
As a
please
consumer?
I was going to say, please answer both
Yeah.
as a consumer and as a marketer.
I think they're
As
good as a consumer.
As a
As a-
consumer, it's fantastico.
But from a business standpoint,
It's still not bad.
It's not bad. It's a little challenging in
As-
some spots, but
Yeah, because as long as somebody actually visits your website, from then on, you can track them.
right.
It's just that from them seeing one of your ads, you can't cookie them. You can't track them that way, or video the pixel, I should say.
right.
Well, doesn't that mean that you get higher quality leads?
That's Frank Kern's point. Your leads are going to be much higher quality because then let's say that you send out, you have 1,000 clicks to that ad that you sent out. Maybe you did spend, a couple $1,000s or so. Those 1,000 clicks, among those, there's going to be some people who will be your buyers, and you can take that group and create a lookalike audience, and that's going to become pure gold for you.
Right.
So it's just adding a layer or another step. But people all freaked out, and all the advertising gurus are sending out more courses and do this and do this and do that. And what I liked about Frank's approach was it was super simple. He said, don't worry, it's okay. Everything's going to be all right. Just change your strategy, change the tactic, and you'll get results. So
Yes.
You want to know what else I've seen in 2021?
What?
More virtual events.
True.
I've
Well,
seen
more than 2020?
I think so. I think I've seen
I think
more
they're hybrids now. Hybrids. in
more
2020.
hybrids, still a lot of virtual events. I've seen more frequent emailing. People emailing more frequently. We were talking about that. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was going to say email's coming back. Twitter's making a comeback. That's the other thing in 2020.
Yeah, Twitter is definitely making a comeback.
And Twitter ads. Pinterest ads are big. I will tell you, though, from our personal experience, having been part of a digital agency specializing in Pinterest's algorithm, late 20 and throughout 2021, has tanked if you are a creator. You really, it's changed more into a pay-to-play type of thing now. If you're paying them with Pinterest ads, it's fine. You get more reach. But we had tens of clients that went down to 0, because the algorithm changed.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the things. I mean, the algorithm has changed also. We've seen Facebook, for example, the reach, organic reach is way down. I mean, the only thing that most people in the internet marketing industry are looking at is Facebook for groups, because it's a great place to meet up with people in groups, but you don't want to be dependent upon that.
Mm-hmm.
And organic reach, I've seen just go down to almost nothing. I mean,
I see that's a recurring message that's coming through that, don't rely on one.
Never.
Or don't rely on platforms in general. I always heard that, but I heard that more often in the past year or so. It's been coming through more.
Yeah. Well, our John and I have a mutual friend, James Schramko, and he always calls it OTR, which is own the race course. He says you want to have your own membership group, your own, but that's where email comes in.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's talk about Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces and
because that's new.
The alternatives.
Audio only.
Yeah.
Is that better now? My microphone?
Much, yes.
Much better. Much better.
So, but this is an interesting thing. So Clubhouse, I've played with quite a bit. I think a lot of Clubhouse is being imitated by not just Twitter Spaces, but also Facebook has been playing with audio only rooms. And I've been on a couple of them, and the interface looks identical to Clubhouse. I mean, identical, except that the great thing is you can click on somebody's image and you can go to their profile within Facebook, whereas Clubhouse wanted you to connect your Twitter and or your Instagram to be able to communicate with people.
Right.
So I think the advantage that Facebook will have, and possibly if Instagram doesn't audio only, I mean, heck, they're owned by Facebook, is the ability to connect even deeper through direct messages and other things within that audio platform. I know. Have you been on Twitter Spaces?
No. And I was going to ask, is it a separate app?
No, you just go in within the Twitter. You'll see them appear. It'll be like a group of people at the top of your Twitter feed. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give it a try right now.
And Dr. Kayvon Kay will be leaving us for Twitter Spaces today. Twitter Spaces, the final frontier. I will say that Clubhouse is interesting. So the strategy. So we belong to a group called the Launch Circle, and one of the things John and I do, and one of the things that came up they had a happy hour yesterday, and one of the things that came up was one individual had been presenting himself. He'd been going to larger Clubhouse groups and being called up on stage to make his presentations. And so he had presented to as many as 800 people, wound up getting like 150 people reaching out to him. Right. And it was like 50 or 30 leads from that, of which he's, I think, gleaning 6 people with very constant conversations and probably going to get three solid paying customers out of the deal. But that's leveraging a larger group, which is also something that's recommended in Facebook, which has been for forever and a day. So
sure.
I mean, it's always good to start your own club on Clubhouse, but you always have to direct people away. You have to have a call to action in some way, shape, or form. Like I would say here, in call to action, come on over to Maximize Your Media, and we'll chat about your social posting, or come on over to Epic Win Agency, where John will take care of your video marketing needs, and we'll do a social posting also. So, but DM me, reach out to me, chat. Here's a phone number, whatever it turns out to be. But I do think you need more one-on-one conversations nowadays, and I do find though that Instagram stories combined with Instagram Reels is very powerful. And then add to that the YouTube. YouTube is still, to some extent, the Wild West when it comes to building your authority.
Yeah.
I think that's where you look at this little troika: Facebook for groups, Instagram, and YouTube. I think is one of the interesting strategies. Have you found anything interesting in Twitter Spaces, Kayvon?
I don't see any spaces at all. First of all, I noticed that I was logged out, so I had to log back in. And because I don't use it much.
It's a lot easier on your phone, I would think.
It's a complete new Twitter now. There's an ad on top, and there are, news
to
stuff
new
going
Twitter.
on. So, and where is this? There you go. Where are these spaces?
This is Kayvon trying to navigate Twitter.
Where are the spaces, amigo? I'm learning Spanish, by the way, on Duolingo.
Oh, good.
¿Por qué?
¿Qué pasa?
Because we were over there and I had issues communicating with other people.
You had
so
issues?
Duolingo.
Kayvon, you had issues before you went to Mexico.
Well, I'm blaming it on Duolingo. Oh.
Blame it on Duolingo.
I've got issues and I haven't even been to Mexico.
I have so many issues, it's a full prescription.
I know.
Sorry, subscription. Also, prescription too would be helpful. Yeah, the if you're looking at the desktop version of Twitter, you're not going to see spaces. It appears very readily at the top of your phone. It's just the same thing.
Create a space, but I didn't find the spaces to join.
Yeah, but you can create your own. But it depends on who you're following. If they are not creating spaces, then you're not going to find one to join. So
I have to actually follow people on this thing.
The quality of the people you follow will determine which spaces are available to you.
How many people do you think I'm following on Twitter?
50.
That's a good guess. 82.
Oh, I'm so close. I think how many? I got to go back and look at how many I'm following. How many I'm following? I know I have more people following me than I have followers. I can tell you that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm following 1,626. Oh, that's so hilarious. That was my freshman class when I was an undergrad. That's the same number. And I have 2,445 followers. So 800 more followers than those I am following. Instagram was similar too. Instagram, I think I've got 700 followers and I know I'm following 700 and I probably am being followed by 1,100. So not everybody who follows you is worth a follow, by the way.
No, well, I kind of never used Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm sometimes I make a post or something, but now that we're doing this, I notice I'm following 82 people and there are only 600 people following me. So, not active user on it.
Yeah, it's funny because like I just got David Amerland, who's an author of several really great books. His current book is Intentional. It was listed as one of the top happiness books of 2021, like the best happiness book. And I just went to Twitter. It shows that he liked 2 of my tweets. So. But we go back and forth. I mean, I've had several thought leaders who are more accessible on Twitter than they really are, say, on Facebook, Instagram, or even LinkedIn. So that's why I think the virtue of Twitter is there is, even though, maybe a tweet will only last like 28 minutes or so, that's like its maximum life. It's still there, but in terms of being raised to the top of somebody's feed, you've got about less than a half hour. It still is a great place to communicate back and forth, even through direct messages. In fact, was it Dennis Yu? Yeah, who's a big internet marketer. He and I were trying to communicate with each other at Social Media Marketing World, or it was Traffic and Conversions. And I didn't realize that he was using the Twitter private messaging to reach me so that we could meet up during the event. And it wasn't until later I discovered all these messages that were hidden in Twitter. I didn't know that was his preference. My preference was Facebook Messenger. His was private messages on Twitter. And so you really have to figure out where is your audience, or where are the people whom you follow regularly, and how do you reach them? So,
or maybe someday somebody can create an ultimate messaging app that all of these messages from all different places come to the same app.
Yeah, it's called telepathy.
Yes, that one. Yeah, I installed that one a while ago, but I couldn't get the upgrades.
Didn't get the upgrade.
No updates for me. No.
You didn't know where to go for the upgrade.
Yes,
that's right.
I guess I'm really stuck on short form video in terms of the thing that 2021 has it struck me the most.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's why we're putting together, John and I have been talking about putting together a course for the beginning of the year, which will specifically look at short form video and how it can be used both for Facebook and Instagram stories. YouTube shorts, by the way, that's something most people haven't really considered, 15-second or 60-second videos. And I've been playing with those quite a bit, and they're very interesting. In fact, yeah, I laid off of all posting for about 3 or 4 days now because we're busy moving, we're packing and downsizing and everything. And it was interesting because it let me kind of sort things through my head and saying, do I really want to talk about this or that or whatever? And I even set up spreadsheets and short form video of where I got the most reach, the most likes. People share stuff. They save some of your short form videos, but what really strikes me as interesting is they share your short form videos. That's like the ultimate compliment and engagement. Like they liked it so much that they want to impress their friends with a message, and so they share it with other people. It's sort of the ultimate in engagement, I would think.
I would think.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I think that one thing that changed for me in 2021 is I stopped posting on, or creating content and that sort of thing. So now that we're talking about this, I'm thinking I gotta get back.
Get back to where you once belonged, Jojo.
Yes. Good, Joe.
Yeah, we and if you'd like, we can introduce you in our new course coming in January to the short form video content formula.
That's right.
I will join only if there's a challenge. Like a 7
I'll
days.
give you a challenge. 30
Uh,
reels in 30 days. I already did that. That was something.
Yes.
It's real easy.
Real for reals.
And we keep it real.
Keeping it reals.
Keeping it real.
Stories is the hardest thing for me, and that was one thing that I've learned from more than one person is the value of stories in terms of developing a relationship, because that is more, whether it's YouTube Shorts, Instagram Stories, whatever it is. Actually, no, stories are a little different. So Facebook Stories are just weird, in my opinion, because if you're in the business section of professional pages, you can send out a story even in the form of 15-second videos, and although today for the marketing happy hour, it made me cut the video, which was 15 seconds according to Canva. Facebook, Instagram said, no, it's too long. You have to cut it. So I trimmed it by 0.2 seconds and then it accepted it. And this has happened to me too with YouTube Shorts. YouTube is very unforgiving. And every 60-second video that I had in Canva that says 60 seconds, I look at QuickTime, it's 60 seconds. I upload it to YouTube as a short, and 9 times out of 10, it comes out as 1 minute and 1 second. So what I realized in 2021, to be successful with YouTube Shorts, the maximum we should go is a 59-second video.
The other thing that was a big change, I think, in 2021.
Aside from this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think people are tired of business as usual, and
That's
there's
true.
more of an emphasis on I want things to be fun. I want to be enlightened. I want to feel lighter about things going on. And I heard this from my friend Ryan Lee, and I think he was spot on. And this is one of the big things he said. He was listening to a bunch of different podcasts. And he said all of them have kind of the same format. There's nothing different about them, and they're not fun.
Yeah, different is definitely better, but most people are afraid to be different.
Yes,
and that's one of the greatest challenges that they have. And we talk about, so Kayvon, earlier you're talking about getting things done as an implementation coach. The line that I'm finding in my Instagram reels and sometimes in stories that I use at the end, well, I've used previously the one that's and always remember to put the N after FU because you want to have fun. But the one that's gotten resonance with people is to always have fun when you're getting things done.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's why I put in the Funumental, because I'm really the original Funumentalist.
It is fundamental.
Yes.
Anyway.
What should you guys just mentioned reminded me that I also noticed the trend of either courses or people just talking about it. Storytelling. Like
Mm.
people are talking about the storytelling courses and how to
Yes.
use the power of story, and I think
Yeah.
that has a relationship to not wanting to do business as usual.
Right.
Well, and people buy from people. So why wouldn't you make yourself a more interesting
Yes.
person?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've
Thinking
noticed a
Barbara
lot of
Streisand,
differences.
people who love people.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of differences. Speaking of courses, I've noticed a lot of differences in courses too now.
Of course you have.
More courses with apps, so that you can connect to the course through an app, or additional ways to connect the course, like through a built-in podcast to the course, so that you're able to absorb it in different ways.
There is a resurgence in podcasts now too. It's very
There is.
interesting. In
Yeah,
2021,
huge.
2021 has actually seen an interesting migration where people who are doing a lot of YouTube broadcasts are actually migrating to podcasts. So they'll have the audio portion. In fact, even Stephen
Yep.
Colbert's Late Show
Yep.
just came out with a podcast a couple of weeks ago. They took the show and changed the audio into a podcast.
Yep.
Very interesting, just by editing it. But there's a lot of podcasters out there who have done audio only, who this year are moving into audio plus the video, where you can actually watch somebody. And that, many, many years ago with radio and TV shows, that was a big deal, where you could get, like, I think it was on CNN where Larry King was doing this, and you could watch Larry King interview somebody for his live radio show on TV.
Yep.
And that was revolutionary, but that was like a couple decades ago. And now it's sort of coming full circle. Everything old is new again. We're talking about the personal touch. Automation is a big thing too. You were talking about AI,
Automation is a big thing.
but even looking at streaming platforms and other things, we have played with a number of things. Like we use StreamYard right now. You, John, have been suggesting a number of different automations in terms of CRMs. Some fall in and out of favor. If your deliverability goes down, sometimes you can even be attacked. We had an attack on my wife's blog from a bot attack where they were subscribing people from all over the world, mostly from Russia, China.
Nice.
I think nobody from Kazakhstan. So I know BB wasn't involved.
No.
That's right. No.
Yeah.
Oh, Kazakhstan.
Not from Kazakhstan, but
So
it was.
a question, are we doing 1 hour lives now, or are we still?
I don't know what we're doing. I think we'll do 40
30
minutes.
minute format.
30 minutes,
We're just
35
hanging
minutes.
out a little bit today.
We should.
We missed you.
Once
So
we
we
get
go
you, we're just
over.
catching up. We're just
Ah,
catching
that
up
feels
with
good.
you. In your absence, we had John's daughter Marie last week.
He was our special guest.
Oh,
Yeah, you missed out.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you missed
Ah,
out. She's a
awesome.
streamer. She gets paid for streaming video games.
Oh, that she's a gamer.
She's a
Gamer.
gamer and a streamer, and she's not a
Yes.
dreamer because she gets
Very
things
good.
done while she's having fun.
She's a gamer, and now she's going to Korea.
A gamer in Korea.
For it's
The
a
Marie
gaming
Rosenberg
trip?
story.
No.
No.
My her husband is stationed in Korea.
Ah, right. Okay.
You didn't want to say my son-in-law. You say her husband.
My husband.
Her husband.
Husband. So whatever.
I just want to know if the sugar glider is still alive behind you.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Asleep right now, though.
Asleep, nocturnal.
The nocturnal. Sugar gliders are nocturnal.
Sugar gliders are nocturnal. Why do they call them sugar gliders? Are they sweet when you taste them, or what?
They like honey and sweet things. Honey, agave, that kind of stuff.
My
They're
dad
sweet.
used to repeat. Oh, here's my dad.
They're marsupials. They're part of the possum family.
Look, this guy. My dad wasn't a marsupial. He looks a little like Yoda meets
Einstein.
Doc from Back to the Future.
Well, yeah, Doc Brown. Doc
Yes.
Brown.
Anyway,
I have a Yoda joke for you.
You do?
You have a joke?
Yes.
Is this a clean one, Kayvon?
Yes, of course it is.
Okay.
Do you know why? Yeah, why they made Star Wars 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3? In charge of planning, Yoda was.
Oh boy. Is that part of your comedy routine?
No,
No,
It
but it
should
could
be.
be.
we should put.
It should be. That should be part of it.
I
Because
should
something
do a
like,
comedy
I love
routine just
movies.
telling other people joke.
Yeah, so when you say that's okay, you can modify them. You modify them slightly and claim them. It's just like when speakers are quoting, they're from the stage, they're quoting other speakers. The first time you say it, according to Brian Tracy, sales should all take place in a bar or something. He never said that. And then the second time, you say it, somebody I remember said the best sales take place at a bar. At a bar, if you're in Massachusetts.
That's what we say in Boston.
A bar.
A bar.
And then the third time, you just quote yourself. So the attribution shrinks over the course of 3 sayings. So
nice.
It turns into, if you want to make sales, you got to be drunk.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I will say I've had my best interactions and with long-term relationships with internet marketers and celebrities and others at bars.
Yeah.
Well, let me share some ancient Persian wisdom with you.
Oh boy.
Ancient Persians made every decision twice. Once when they were sober, and another time when they were drunk.
Which
and
one did they
both
keep?
Occasions, if in both occasions you make the same decision, come to the same conclusion, that's the way to go.
That's interesting, because if you were drunk and made that decision, it comes more from sort of raw emotion, unfiltered.
Yes.
And if you're
head is
sober
not
and
in the way.
Yeah. So you get out of your own way.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And also when you're sober, you're not you're not making a emotional decision. You weigh pros and cons, and if in both situations you come up with the same thing, then that's the way to go.
It's sort of like tapping into your intellect versus your emotion or subconscious level. It's very interesting.
Yeah, one is with the heart, the other one is with the mind. Head or heart. There you go.
That was my heart. I'm sorry. My anatomy instructor when I was in chiropractic school did that, and I couldn't wait to imitate him. He was doing it over the cadaver as we opened up the heart.
John, and you do a face slap to my jokes? What about that? There you go.
Face palm. Oh, John is our own emoji for today. That's great. I'm finding also, speaking of emojis, I'm seeing more use of emojis in 2021 in subject lines and emails.
Oh, that's true.
Because it's hard to get people's attention. The other one is some easy ones, or people put their name in brackets, or they do something to make themselves distinguished or more visible within somebody's inbox.
Mm.
To stand out.
Yeah, to kind of stand out in some way, shape, or form. And then sometimes you just create a little initial thing, like the RV HBA, which is the Recreational Vehicle Home Business Association. So you might put RV HBA in brackets.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. That's why you say the RV HBA.
That's right.
Or it's the RV Home Business Association. How's that? Is that better?
I like it.
We just keep RV as short.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's John's upcoming association for recreational vehicle owners who want to stay on the road and be able to earn that fabulous passive income.
That's right.
It's expensive to fill up your tank.
Sure as hell is.
Speaking of that, are there electric RVs?
We were talking about that the other day.
On that, yeah, we were talking about that. They really would be good to do that. I actually thought about trying to make mine into a hybrid at one point, but it's just really big.
Well, they have you've seen recently. You even saw when Biden, current president, was test driving the GMAC Hummer. It's 1,000 horsepower electric Hummer.
Wow.
And it just takes off like a bat out of hell.
It takes off like a rocket. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's amazing. It's incredible torque, actually. I'd be really interested to see what that thing was like.
That's cool. Like motor.
It got great torque. Hey, so in terms of torque, anything else you want to say today about what worked? Torque? What worked?
What worked?
What failed miserably in 2021? So I should ask that question as we're getting to the end of this thing.
Gosh, what failed miserably in 2021?
I can tell you my ads failed miserably. So,
yeah.
Pinterest reach tanked.
Yeah.
I know my intentions in staying in shape failed miserably.
I thought you're a big CrossFit guy.
Yeah, but I'm also a very talented eater.
You're a talented eater. Did you eat a lot of Mexican food?
It happens.
Everything. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Yeah. Well, this whole, I don't know, something happened in during COVID. A lot of it was, staying at home, but also
I now understand
other
why
things.
you wore
I
the
gained a lot
blanket.
of weight.
You wore the blanket to cover up. I understand that now. Okay.
That's right. Just cover it up.
Almost.
Oh man. So what are our takeaways? Well, I guess we'll talk about 2022 next week.
Yeah.
Because there's some trends that are coming up. Any final words or any call to actions, Kayvon? People, how do they reach you?
Well, for one thing, I'm glad I'm back in Vancouver and on these live streams with you guys. One of the things that I didn't like about Mexico City was that it's the altitude so high. I'm used to sea level, and it's. Did you know Mexico City is only about 100 meters lower than Aspen, so it's almost the same. And
Wow.
and also the air pollution. So I had a lot of shortness of breath attacks. Like I had to think about my breathing when I started a sentence. I would go like that.
Such
for
an
one
SOB.
thing, I'm back.
Such an SOB. Shortness of breath.
And,
by the way, let's see medical.
Yes,
Sure,
I know. And
Yes, right.
being
You
on
know.
these calls with you, and call to action, kind of for all of us. Let's start thinking about our 2022 goal setting and goals earlier this year.
That sounds good.
With everything
could
that we
even
have
go.
learned. So that's what's on my mind these days, actually.
Juan?
What about you guys?
Gosh, 2022. I'm expecting to see, gosh, a ton more AI stuff. I keep seeing more and more things popping up all the time. It's really been surprising to me. I see a lot of us reducing our hours in 2022 because we'll be able to do so much stuff with automation, and a lot of simplification in 2022. I think more and more people are looking to simplify, scale things down, and I'm looking forward to talking about that next week.
Yeah, so we'll be looking next week. We'll be talking about the marketing trends that we're looking out for in 2022, and I think maybe we spend December, aside from next week, which is the 1st, we spend December talking about the goal settings and strategies that we want to implement in 2022. And with our implementation coach, how could we possibly go wrong?
There you go.
Like the brain said,
Everything.
what we plan every night,
together,
taking over the world.
Taking over the world. Pinky in the brain. All right. So please, as I mentioned before, use the hashtag replay when you're watching this so we know that you were watching, and it really helps us sprinkle a little magical fairy dust all over our broadcasts. And we are available here. If you need any help with your social media marketing, video marketing, you can reach John or I at the Epic Win Agency, even though I've put Maximize Your Media here, which is our local thing. And we'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. If you have any questions or comments, just reach out to us. We are always here. And you'll also find us on the Book of Faces, the page, which is entitled The Marketing Happy Hour. How can you miss with that? All right.
There you go.
See you next week. Bye-bye. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Don't gain too much
Happy Turkey Day.
Not so much pie.